The book on Ellwood City's 1985 campaign actually begins on a blustery November night in 1984. The upstart Wolves would trade claws with back alley adversary Riverside on this enchanted evening. And no sweeter decision has ever been tasted by the rugged Milltown.
The clock at 7 seconds. 6. And that's the end of the ball game. Ellwood City pulls off the big upset, knocking off Riverside 17-14. The crowd pouring on.
Despite the outcome, Riverside went on to battle for the Double-A crown. Ellwood City went on to battle a winner as relentless as Todd Montaigne off right tackle. But Coach Jim Rankin knows January sparks become September flames. And Rankin knows that true athletes shun the frosty chill of winter to build a fire that crackles in February and bursts in autumn's brilliance.
In the burning heart, just about to burst. There's a quest for answers and unquenchable thirst. In the darkest night, rising like a spire. In the burning heart, the unmistakable fire. In the burning heart. In the warrior's code, there's no surrender. Though his body says stop, his spirit cries never. Deep in our soul, a quiet ember knows it's you against you. It's the paradox that drives us all. It's a battle of wills in the heat of attack. It's the passion that kills. The victory is yours alone. In the burning heart, just about to burst. There's a quest for answers and unquenchable thirst. In the darkest night, rising like a spire. In the burning heart, the unmistakable fire.
On the edge of the 1985 season, Jim Rankin could barely bridle his enthusiasm. With Tony Petricola, Frank Kalau, Gary Lagana, and Nick Lamenza, Rankin complemented his buzzsaw defense with an offense that went for the throat 6 different ways. On the eve of the 1985 season, Ellwood City's fire burned bright.
We set a lot of team goals, like going into the season. Like we wanted to make it to the playoffs and have a winning season again.
We wanted to improve a lot. Coming off 6-4, we wanted to do better. Each year has progressed, they've gotten better, so we wanted to carry on that tradition.
Going into the year, we knew we were good, but we just didn't know how good. We knew we had to be tested.
We figured that we would be in the playoffs this year.
It's obvious nothing short of a playoff berth would satisfy the hungry young Wolves. And in the opener, Ellwood City quenched their thirst at the expense of Oliver High School. Junior fullback Billy Chapman foreshadowed the 85 season on this 14-yard romp. And the rout was on. The Wolves took no prisoners as Nick Perry capped the explosion with 2 fourth-quarter scores. The final, Ellwood City 41, Oliver 6. But a cold breeze swept through Ellwood City in week number 2. It's Burgettstown's Brian LaRue blowing through the Wolverines secondary for the Blue Devils' first score. Once again, Burgettstown attacks the secondary. And again, the assault pays dividends. Mike Dominelli finally lights the Wolverine fire with consecutive 16 and 42-yard bursts. But Dave Petka's 37-yard field goal reduces Ellwood City's home opening bonfire to a candle in the wind. Friday the 13th seemed tailor-made for the Wolverines' ambitions. But the Wolves chose to stay home in their section opener against Mars. Following Dave Hall's 2-yard touchdown burst, the Planets took control. Sean Fortney scooped up an errant pitch and raced 37 yards for the score. Ryan Isaldo scores on Ellwood City's counterattack. Only to watch Mars mystify the Wolverines secondary with more hocus pocus. Ellwood City's comeback hopes disappeared on the 3-yard line, and the once magical Wolverines stood baffled by 2 straight defeats.
We were really upset after that because both games, we didn't lose the game, we gave them the games. So everyone was upset, you know. I think that's really what turned us around.
We had to start all over and rebuild and start from the basics.
We knew we had to come back. And I think our characters changed. We changed around Ellwood whole town. So we were ready to win now.
Following the Mars fiasco, Jim Rankin set his jaw straight, looked reporters in the eye, and boldly declared, "We're not finished yet." The statement lit a fire that would carry the Wolves to 6 consecutive wins. True to form, the New Brighton Lions found the rebounding Wolves too hot to handle. On offense, Ellwood City went back to basics and hammered the Lions' front wall. Chapman, Beatrice, Dominelli, and Hall battered the Lions with reckless abandon. Meanwhile, the Wolves' defense clawed the Lions into submission. Ellwood City took their first step toward playoff contention with a 35-14 win over New Brighton. Tradition. Beaver has it, the Wolves won it. And Jeff Beatrice goes a long way toward making sure Ellwood City gets their fair share on the Wolverines' first possession. Jeff Beatrice would rush for over 100 yards in his finest effort to date. Ryan Isaldo caps Ellwood City's second drive, and it's the Wolves by 15. But tradition dies hard. Pat Tarquinio's Bobcats reached into their illustrious past and summoned 18 unanswered points on guts, determination, and tradition. Never had Ellwood City's flame flickered so low. Never had the Wolverines flirted so close to playoff extinction. And then, Jim Rankin called upon his offense to wrestle tradition away from the Bobcats.
Asaldo, the quarterback. And it's a flea flicker. It looks like a lineman threw the football. Timmerman open. Timmerman open. He makes the grab. Unbelievable. Roth. Asaldo wide open. He scores. Ellwood City scores. The handoff to Roth.
The battle was over. Those who watched Ellwood City trade blows with the Beaver Bobcats on this evening also watched a changing of the guard. Jim Rankin knew the defense was the key to a successful playoff bid. And so Rankin molded 11 men of disparate statures and personalities into one unit with the single-mindedness of a hungry wolf stalking its prey. Defensive ends Scott Timmerman and Dean Dobbins led the Wolfpack attack from the outside. Whether swarming quarterbacks or sacking running backs, Timmerman and Dobbins play the game with a Predators' controlled frenzy. In the heart of the pack lurk Chris Cortez, Brian Gibbons, and Bill Peretta. And in the hungry hearts of these three down linemen burns a blistering desire to control every play from scrimmage. Joe Robb, Ernie Mallory, and Jerry Ritzer stalked the middle of Ellwood City's defense like a werewolf under a full autumn moon. But Lon Chaney never managed the tenacity of Ellwood City's three Wolverines in the middle. There seemed to be a bad moon rising every time enemy quarterbacks probed the Ellwood City secondary. Craig Ketterer, Billy Vaccari, Mike Dominelli, Kevin Jones, and Nick Perry put the INT back into Wolverine football. Jim Rankin's defense put on a new face for 1985. The Wild Boys of '84 became the Werewolves of Ellwood City.
I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see earthquakes and lightning. I see bad times today. Don't go around tonight, but it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the right. I hear hurricanes are blowing. I know the end is coming soon. I feel rivers overflowing. I hear the voice of rage and ruin. Don't go around tonight, but it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the right. Oh, right.
But in the sunlight's glare, it was the Trojans of center piling up a 14-0 first half advantage. Billy Chapman helmed the Ellwood City comeback with this 4-yard burst. The score sparked the Wolves' defense. And bad moon or not, Craig Ketterer explodes on Mike Anderson. And Scott Timmerman crosses the chalk with the fumble recovery. But again, the Wolverines backed themselves into a corner. And again, the Wolves slugged their way out.
Fourth down and 4 yards to go. 1 minute, 26 seconds. Roth goes in motion. Asano keeps the ball. He rolls out. He has Billy Chapman. Billy Chapman breaking it. Billy Chapman still on his feet. All the way down to the 2-yard line. What a play by an Asano.
With time running out and Ellwood City still down by 1, it's Billy Chapman enjoying another day in the sun. Kevin Jones nails down another Ellwood City win, and the Wolves brace themselves for next week's brawl with Beaver Falls.
You are facing the defending champs, and I mean, Riverside just got done beating them, so we knew they could be beat.
We knew this meant everything. If we beat them, we had a chance of definitely going into the playoffs.
What a feeling you'll never forget in your life. We were up for them.
The champions, the challengers, the Tigers, the Wolves, the main event. Ellwood City put Beaver Falls on the ropes again and again early in the brawl. But the Wolves could not muster a knockout blow. Jim Rankin settled for a pair of Sean Reese field goals and a 6-0 halftime advantage. Beaver Falls emerged in the second half like a champion behind on points and in desperate need of a knockout. The Tigers rained blow after blow on Ellwood City, but the Wolverines kept coming back for more. Eddie Reynolds buckled the Wolves with a hammering 2-yard burst. And as the bell rang for the final round, Beaver Falls and Ellwood City stood toe-to-toe. And in this prize fight, one small warrior stood head and shoulders above the rest. Billy Chapman recalled Jake LaMotta with a raging body attack. Time and again, Chapman pounded the heart of the Tiger defense before summoning a lifetime of preparation for one knockout punch.
You can feel that momentum shifting back to the blue and white. Billy Chapman left side. Inside the 15, inside the 10, Billy Chapman! Touchdown, Ellwood City! From 35 yards out, Billy Chapman explodes off the left side!
When the bell tolled the end of this war, the Wolves left the Tigers on the canvas. The Raging Bull went back to the attack in Week 8 against Freedom. It's Chapman from 6 yards out, and the route is on. The Wolves would cross the chalk on 8 different occasions against the Junkyard Dogs as Jim Rankin and company opened the floodgates, turned on the firepower, and shut out the lights. It's Ellwood City 51, the Freedom Bulldogs nothing. Jerry Vecchio tossed his Quakers to the Wolves in Week 9, and Quaker Valley played like a team trying to stop a runaway train. Every man, woman, and child in Helling Stadium knew that that train was gonna roll. And roll the Wolverines did en route to 375 yards and 57 points. When the train finally came to a halt, the Wolves stood tied with Riverside at 6-1, with a date with the Panthers and a shot at the 2 AA crown just 1 week away. Raindrops kept falling on the Wolverines early at Riverside, and costly special teams mistakes resulted. Mark Altsman and the Panthers took the opportunity to do a little singing in the rain. Mike Dominelli brought a ray of sunshine to the Ellwood City hopefuls. But late in the game, the Panthers rain on the Wolverines' championship parade. By virtue of a Beaver Falls win over Beaver, Ellwood City would reach the playoffs for the first time in over 25 years. Yet, in the downpour at Riverside, Jim Rankin's Wolverines discovered that the top of the world and bottom are not that far apart. The Wolverines stood at the top of the pack largely because of their high-powered offensive attack. Jim Rankin installed a complex system, then handed the throttle to Brian Isaldo. The slick junior quarterback engineered the offense by combining a surgeon's dexterity with a champion's desire to succeed. Isaldo's results speak for themselves. Wideout John Vespasiani and tight end Scott Timmerman share Isaldo's wealth of talent and desire. Vespasiani packs a heart as big as Lawrence Avenue into a frame built for a less demanding sport. Scott Timmerman is not fast or flashy. All Scott does is get open and catch the football. The heart of Ellwood City's attack proved to be its offensive front. These young men won football games where football games are won and lost, in the pits. Mike Mewpower, Wayne Smith, Tim Gerard, Ernie Mallory, Jerry Ritzer, Dean Dobbins, and Jim Italiano gave new meaning to the term trench warfare. Ellwood City's offensive front proved to be the key to the Wolverines' punishing ground assault. The men chosen by Jim Rankin to run the football are the men blessed with wings on their feet. Jeff Beatrice utilized lightning acceleration from his halfback position. And when Beatrice bolted on a breakaway, his sheer speed could take your breath away. When Beatrice went down in mid-season, Dave Hall stepped into the spotlight. Rankin's backfield never missed a beat when Isaldo called the nimble junior running back's number. Mike Dominelli accepts all challenges with confidence and enthusiasm. The senior running back combines a slashing style and determination with a boyish love for the game. And if Wolverine fans never quite forgot Robbie Minto, Dominelli's presence made Minto's absence much easier to live with. If the Ellwood City front was the heart of the Wolverine offense, then Billy Chapman was its soul. Chapman knows only one way to run with the football. Head down, wheels turning, shoulders squared straight ahead. And Ellwood City's raging bull hammered north and south often enough to accumulate over 1,000 yards and all section honors. Mention must be made of sure-footed Sean Reese, kicker John Calabria, and punter Ernie Mallory. Successful special teams play began with these fine specialists. Rankin's parts store looks well stocked for the future with Chris Ketterer, John DeLuca, Jay Patrick, Rick Petrelli, and Evan Westland waiting in the wings. Tomorrow's dreams of a championship season rests on the shoulders of these young men. And so, the Wolverines prepared for their first taste of playoff competition in over 25 years. They say you can't go home. Jim Rankin returned to his hometown Jeanette and discovered the adage the hard way. Despite first half domination, the Wolverines settled for a 3-0 advantage. Jeanette rallied in the second half, and Ellwood City's dream team finished 3 bricks shy of a low.
I think it was a good year. We could have done better. We lost a couple games that we could have won. Really, we could have easily been undefeated going into the playoffs. But I think it's good because it's set something for the next year's team. They know what they can do. They know they can go to the playoffs.
I enjoyed playing for coaches, and I wish the juniors good luck next year, and I think they're going to take it all next year.
It was a building block. I think the team that just left was a building block for Billy Chapman and Brian Asaldo, where we can start something and they can carry it on to a WPIL championship.
The goal of playoff contention must first begin with a dream. Jim Rankin brought his dream to Ellwood City in 1980. Rankin dreamed of sure-handed quarterbacks and punishing fullbacks, and 11 men that played defense in a controlled frenzy. Rankin talked about that dream until his ball players began believing. Ball players like Robbie Minto and Duke Arkwright helped build the foundation for Rankin's dream. These men believed in Ellwood City football. And when the time came for Minnow to pass the baton to a hungry new group of Wolves, Rankin knew that now his dream could be achieved. 1985 will be remembered as the year when Billy Chapman and Mike Dominelli and Ernie Mallory and Craig Ketterer began a proud new era in Wolverine football. The Wolves beat all odds en route to their first playoff appearance in over 25 years. Ellwood City football, 1985. Dream it, believe it, achieve it.
The Wolverines trailing at 1 point, 14-7. The pitch out to Dominelli. Dominelli has a lot of running room. He breaks the tackle. He's going to go in. Touchdown, Ellwood City. The Wolverines.
Ellwood City has the football at the New Brighton 13. Dominelli right side. Dominelli still on his feet, spinning. Touchdown. Touchdown, Ellwood City. Beatrice, motion left to give is to Beatrice. He swoops around left end. Beatrice breaking over midfield inside the 40 to the 35 to 30. He's gone. Jeff Beatrice, touchdown. Beatrice breaks in for 62 yards. And the touchdown.
They give to Billy Chapman. Chapman goes in. Touchdown. Touchdown, Ellwood City Wolverines. The Wolverines with 37 seconds.
Wolverines back on offense. Asaldo gives big opening. Jeff Beatrice is off to the races. Check out Mike Dominelli. He's being chased by House. Inside the 10. Dominelli breaks it. Blue and white. Billy Chapman left side. Inside the 15, inside the 10. Billy Chapman.